we are starting a new Chumash called Deuteronomy or Devarim in Hebrew, which means words or things, matters, important matters. And this is the last of the 5 books of Moses. And although, of course, the entire Torah was given by Hashem, this one is kind of written as if Moses is speaking to the Jewish people in his own words. It says, I, in the first person, I took you out of Egypt, I took you here, I took you there, as opposed to Hashem speaking to the Jewish people and Moshe just giving over his message. Here it seems like it's really Moshe who is deciding what to impart to the Jewish people as his last will and testament, kind of like an ethical will, if you will, pun intended, when they go into the land of Israel, because this is basically the last year of Moshe's life, the last chance that he has to say whatever he wanted to say before they go into the land of Israel to fulfill their destiny, to reach their purpose, to be a light unto the nations. And here he's giving all these important messages across. For instance, there's a lot of recap. There's a recap of the 10 Commandments, and there's a lot of recap of, the sojourn in the desert and what happened in the desert. All the sins are mentioned, like the golden calf and the sin of the spies and all the complaining that the Jewish people did, and, all kinds of crimes and misdemeanors. And at the same time, we have really important things like Shema and V'ahavta for the first time in this Chumash. Like, this is where we see this idea that the Jewish people are expected to serve Hashem. So this is the first time it talks about the idea that we need to love Hashem, that Hashem loves us. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Hashem is the Lord our God, one, that Hashem is one, the unity. Okay, so there's some really important things going on here. And the question is, why do we need to start with all this negative stuff? The beginning of the Parsha is Moshe basically saying to the Jewish people, we went through this stop and this stop and this stop, and every stop basically represents one of the sins that you guys did. You worshipped the golden calf here, you complained about the lack of water here, you complained about the manna here, you complained about this, you complained about that, you did the sin of the spies, you had no emunah, you basically were doing all these things wrong, okay? And the question is, in such an important, last will and testament, what is the point of Moshe kind of being a downer here, Like, why tell them in time for going into the land of Israel, why tell them all these negative things? Doesn't it feels like very, in today's world for sure, like, doesn't feel like you're supposed to mention people's wrongdoings, That's not, doesn't breed self-confidence. It doesn't give them the sense that they're loved and that, they can do anything kind of thing. So it's very interesting because we are in a time period in Israel, and, everyone knows this already. We've been saying it a few times, that everybody is in a very broken, spirited mood, okay? You walk in, like I just walked in, I'm trying to plan my next trip, Mirat Hashem, November 11th to the 18th, and I walked into the tour company, and at first everybody, they haven't seen me in a few months, they're like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing great. And then I remember, oh, no, we're not doing great. There's a huge threat on our heads, and we're about to, the end of the world is coming, and terrible, terrible things are happening, and so many Jewish people died on October 7th, and we're just still experiencing the horror of that day, and the hostages are still not returned, and every day is worse and worse, and soldiers are still dying in the war, and there's so much disunity among Jewish people. Everything is horrible, horrible, okay? So you can't even smile. You can't even say, how are you? Hey, I'm doing great. No. You first start smiling, and then you remember, oh, no. Things are horrible. So you have to kind of backtrack and say, well, all considering, we're okay. Under the circumstances, everything is basically okay, and we hope things will be better, and so on and so forth. So it really fits in with what Netivot Shalom says about this week's Parsha. And he says like this, Moshe is about to leave the Jewish people, or basically leave them with a message and what they're going to go on into the land of Israel and try and fulfill a mission and a purpose for which they were put into this world. And Moshe is telling them that in order to achieve great things, you need to actually first start out with a broken spirit. You need to be lev. There's a pasuk in Tehillim which says, lev nishbar v'nitke Elokim lo tivzeh. If you have a broken heart, Hashem cannot ever look down at you. Hashem cannot, like, in any way push you away if you come to him with a broken spirit. And in fact, the Kotzker Rebbe said, Ein davar shalem yoter milev shavor. There is nothing more whole than a broken heart. And people quote it in a number of different contexts. And I think Naomi Shemer, a famous Israeli writer, songwriter, and singer, wrote a song based on this. Ein davar shalem yoter milev shavor. So people sometimes quote her, but she's actually quoting the Kotzker Rebbe. And what he means is, there is nothing more whole than a broken heart. How could that be? A broken heart, what's whole about it? And I think what he means, and I think this is what's happening here in Israel, is that if you don't have a if you don't have a broken spirit, if you feel basically like, I'm good, I have what I need, I'm in a good place, I feel very whole, I feel very complete, I've done a lot of good things, I have a lot of accomplishments, I have a lot of good opinions, and I'm really strong, you are not in a position to receive. You're not in a position really to be in a relationship, because you have to feel a need to be in a relationship with Hashem. And if you're brokenhearted, you are most open to that incredible, infinite experience and infinite relationship, which is with Hashem himself. Because the more you need Hashem, the more you realize that you cannot do this on your own. You are completely in a bad place. You're not able to pull yourself out of the pit, right? I had a friend who just told me, I've just been in a pit the last few weeks, whatever, and I haven't been able to get myself out, right? You just realize, I am powerless. I need Hashem, because I, on my own, am completely nothing. I'm broken. And in order to be complete, I need Hashem. And that's really the best thing that we could ever hope for. Because as soon as we are open to that relationship, then of course Hashem will come and give us what we want, which is a relationship with Hashem. So I think that what's been going on in this country, well, okay, let's go back to the Parsha. Moshe, before he leaves, is really giving the Jewish people a message. You guys have gone through a lot, and you are going to go into the land of Israel, and it's going to be amazing because you're the chosen nation. You're going in with Hashem. You're going to learn all these amazing mitzvot, like loving Hashem and realizing that Hashem is one, and you're going to have such a close relationship with him, and only Israel is where that relationship can fully flourish and take place. And if you go in with this, like, I'm great, I'm amazing, you're not leaving yourself open to the relationship with Hashem. And I think in Israel especially, it's a little bit of a temptation to feel like, hey, we're in our country already. Everything's great. We have a crack army. We have a government that's Jewish. Everybody cares about, Jewish things, Jewish holidays. Everybody knows so much Torah. And it's true. All of these things are 100% true. But it's easy to feel like we have it made and we don't have anything that we need to work on and that we need to be mitaken, that we need to fix. So Moshe is telling us before we go into Israel, no. You're not so great. There's a lot you need to work on. There's a lot you need to fix. When you go into Israel, you will have the opportunity to make those changes. But you have to realize that you don't start out, you're not starting out perfect. You are very imperfect. You're very broken, and you need to fix a lot of things. Okay? So before any really big accomplishment or really a big achievement and really big project, it's almost as if like Hashem has to bring us through a lot of pain and suffering so that we realize that we're downtrodden, that we're not really so amazing on our own. We're completely powerless. We need Hashem. Okay? And that's really what Netivot Shalom says here. I'm going to read it to you because I love it. I really think it relates to today more than ever. That Hava'at hatikun hagamur eina al yidei ma'aseihem hatovim. The final tikkun, what we're all looking for, the tikkun olam, the purpose, the completion of everything that we're put in this world for, is not going to happen because of our good deeds. Listen to this. Ela al yedei shivronam v'hachna'atam. Only through a broken spirit of the Jewish people are we going to achieve the greatness of the relationship with Hashem. And mi reshit habri'ah, from the beginning of creation, Hashem already knew that we are going to have to go through the 4 exiles, even if we didn't do anything wrong. It's almost like we don't even need to do anything wrong in order to have to go through the exiles that are so painful and so full of suffering, in order to create that kli, that vessel, where we feel that we are nothing if we don't have a relationship with Hashem. And I don't know about you guys, but wow, have we been feeling that here in Israel? We feel, I think all around the world, we just feel like things are so bad that we can't even really smile fully. And I think that if we can just take that opportunity and say, oh, okay, that means that we are coming to the end, right? We're at the end of the 40 years in the desert. We're going into the land of Israel. So we're going into the times of the Mashiach. We're going into the end of days. Our destiny is about to be fulfilled. And we need to be brokenhearted in order to reach out and talk to Hashem and just cry out to Him and say, we need you. We are completely not okay. We are so not okay on our own. We need you, Hashem. Please, make the Iranian bombs implode onto them or explode somehow in a place where it just wipes them all out instead of us. And just please show us your miracles and show us that you are totally taking care of us. And if you don't do that, we are just so brokenhearted, we can't even live. We can't even handle it. Which also brings me to my last little point about tefillah that we were looking at yesterday with in She'arim B'Tefillah, in the book The Gates of Prayer. Is this one thing, is that there is a halacha that you actually have to come to tefillah, you have to come pray out of a feeling of need, a feeling of helplessness, like a rash hamivakesh bapetach, like a poor person coming to the door, knocking on the door, or like a poor person asking for a grant or asking for some kind of a donation, right? If you're asking for a donation for your organization or for your home, your own family, because you're so poor, you have no food to put in your mouth, you come out of need, you don't knock on the door, and when the person opens the door, you don't kind of say, wait, I forgot what I'm here for. Yeah, it would be great if you give me a donation, but if not, it's fine. Just, I forgot what I'm talking. Oh, I'm in the middle of my shopping list. You do not do that. So at the same point, we don't do that when we speak to Hashem. We have to come in from a position of powerlessness, helplessness. We really, really need you, Hashem. And that's how we come to speak to Hashem. And that's the beginning of all the great things that we accomplish as a nation, as an individual. Have a great Shabbos, everybody.